Most people think that the road to communism starts with a sudden revolution, soldiers in the streets and flags swapped out. But history tells a different story, and in the 21st century, the shift doesn't happen with a shout, it happens with a whisper. It is a slow, steady sequence of administrative changes and public safety mandates that look like progress until they don't. In this series, we are going to look at the blueprint of control. I'm going to walk through all of the stages of centralization, comparing the historical collapse of nations like Venezuela and Zimbabwe to the legislative shifts that are happening right here, right now in Canada. Step one was the squeeze, because if you don't need the government for your paycheck, you are a threat to their power. This didn't start today. Remember 2020? That was the ultimate test. By decree, the government decided who was essential and who wasn't. They allowed global giants to thrive while your local gym and shop were shuttered. It was a demonstration that your livelihood is a privilege granted by the state, one that they can revoke at any time. But how do you break a middle class that has worked hard and saved? You destroy the value of the dollar in their pocket. Between 2020 and 2022, the Bank of Canada printed over $300 billion. When you flood the system with new money while shutting down production, you are engineering the inflation that is crushing us today. Inflation is the silent tax. It eats at your retirement and it forces you to look at the government for your next rebate check. Now, the emergency is a permanent reality. We are in an entrepreneurial drought where more businesses are closing than starting. In Edmonton, restaurants are hit with patio fees of almost $7,000 and new alcohol taxes. In the heartland, 30% fertilizer mandates and carbon taxes are bankrupting family farms. When you're broken in debt, you are no longer a citizen. You are a client of the state. And then comes the final blow, the mortgage renewal wave. Between now and 2026, $900 billion in Canadian mortgages are hitting a renewal cliff. Families who were told to buy at a 0% are seeing payments jump up by 50% or more. This is an engineered debt trap. When you can't afford the home that you own, you sell to a megacorp and become a permanent renter in the new collective. This is exactly what happened in Venezuela. They used economic war narratives and an agency called Sunday to conduct daily audits on shops, much like the new reporting burdens under Canada's Bill C-59. Zimbabwe followed the same path, seizing thousands of independent farms for public utility. The goal? Make the citizens so poor that they have no choice but to beg the state for their next meal. And look at Toronto today. City Council has approved government-run grocery stores that get tax breaks that no small businesses can touch. When the state competes with the businesses, it's taxing into bankruptcy. The free market is officially over. Are these just bad economic times, or is it a calculated liquidation? If you can't own a business, grow your food, or keep your land, what do you have left? Are you still an entrepreneur, or are you just a pro bono administrator for the state? But controlling your money isn't enough. To ensure that you never regain your power, the state must establish a total monopoly on force. Full articles in my Substack. Tomorrow, we're going to look at the transition from a right to a permission slip. Step 2, the disarmament drops tomorrow.